If I believe in God, why is it important to come to church? You know why I wanted to get this last question in. I just saw it pop up here. Yeah.
All right. By the way, thank you for asking this question in church. We appreciate that. Hebrews 10, beginning at verse 23. Let us hold fast to the confession of our hope without wavering, for the one who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir one another up to love and good works, not neglecting meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as we see the day, the last day, drawing near. Here's why it's important that you come to church. I'll give you two reasons. Number one, never being around other people who receive teaching about God is a really fast track to getting way off base. Isolation is where sin thrives because you never have anyone to talk to about your struggle. Isolation, quite frankly, is where heresy thrives because you never have anybody when you have a question in the Bible to go to and go, you know what, I'm not quite sure I understand this. Could you give me a little bit of insight? Could you maybe help me understand this a little bit better? Isolation is where all sorts of bad stuff thrives. That's why at the very beginning of creation, God didn't just make Adam, He also made Eve. You know what the first church was? Two that were gathered in the name of the Lord, Adam and Eve, who worshiped God. The church, in one sense, is as old as time itself. And so we need that. Here's the other reason we need church. One of the words the preacher of Hebrews uses is the word encouragement. In a world like ours, we all need to be encouraged. And when you see fellow believers in Christ sitting next to you and around you, here's what you can know. You're not the only one. We're in this together.
You know, every Sunday morning, the thing that I love most about coming to church is not preaching, though I love to preach. The thing I love the most is seeing you, being with you. Because as Pastor Zach said, you encourage me. One of the things that I love is seeing all of the folks who know one another and love one another getting together and shaking hands and telling stories. And it's because when we come to church, we're making life better for one another because we encourage and bless one another. Now, one thing that I would add to that, sometimes people who are coming to church haven't been here before. Sometimes people who are coming to church don't know people around them. And so the one thing that I would ask you and I to keep in mind when we come and we celebrate God's grace and His love and that chance to fellowship together is let's you and I strive to make that the same experience for the person who's coming the first time as our very best friend who's been here for years with us. Let's be a congregation of hospitality that welcomes and loves anybody and everybody.